Hello. Yes. Welcome back. It's raining. So, in recent years, there's been this effort by playground designers, especially in Europe, to make playgrounds a little bit more dangerous. So for a long time, playgrounds were getting safer and safer for children. You know, things were getting less tall, there were less sharp edges around, and the hope was that, you know, if you account for the risks that a playground can pose to children, children will get hurt less often. But more recent research actually seems to suggest the opposite, which is that when playgrounds have more evident risks, when they're more evidently dangerous to children, children will kind of pick up on that and learn over time by playing on a supposedly dangerous playground how to play safely. Whereas in a playground that just looks safe, that looks kind of soft around the, have rounded edges, you know, not sharp edges. Oh my God, it's so rainy. In those playgrounds, there are still ways that children can get hurt, but they're not as apparent, and so kids don't learn how to be safe, and that actually results in more injuries. So why am I telling you this story? Well, I think that the case of the designing of playgrounds that are too safe is a good example of a tension that I dealt with during my PhD between learning and design. So put very, very, very simply, the goal of design is basically to figure out what problems people have and then come up with ways to basically minimize or reduce those problems for people, to get rid of those problems, design around them. And the goal of learning is a bit of the opposite. It's to figure out what problems people have, what they want to be able to do better or do at all, and then help them confront those problems head on, to figure out ways to overcome those problems by changing not their environment, but themselves. And during my PhD, I studied computer science education, basically teaching mostly college-age students how to code. I used what were called design-based methods, so I learned to understand things by designing things. And I would always have to wonder to myself, which of these problems in learning to program are problems that students shouldn't have to deal with at all? And what are problems that students should have to deal with? Another way of putting it is, which parts of the learning process are actually the important parts of learning? Which skills or techniques or habits do you need to form that are the good ones? And this is something I don't think people talk about very often when it comes to technology or innovation, which is that when we solve problems, we kind of remove the need to get better at things. So, for example, everybody has access to Google Maps now, especially younger generations. And so a lot of people no longer have needed to learn how to really navigate in a more analog way. And you can make arguments either way of whether or not this is a good thing, but the fact of the matter is the rise of the GPS leads to the reduction of the skill of navigation. And so when we make new technology, when we solve problems by designing solutions to them, we have to ask ourselves, are we okay with this exchange? Are we okay with this problem being a problem that people don't need to get better at anymore? You know, if all you could do, if you wanted to cook a meal and all you had to do was press a button, people would probably stop cooking nearly as much as they do now. Would we be okay with that? I don't know. It's all arbitrary, but you have to make that consideration. So that's all. I got to get out of here. It's very unpleasant weather. Bye.